morning! The first weekend in August around this part of Massachusetts is a special time. A public service announcement goes out warning people that there's going to be a lot of cyclists on the road. That's because of what's called the Pan Mass Challenge. Roughly 30 years ago, a guy named Billy Starr and 9 of his buddies wrote a letter to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and they said, hey, we're going to do a long bike ride and we're going to raise some money for you. The recipient of the letter remembers thinking, well, that's nice, and then quickly forgetting about it. Well, about a week later, a check arrived in the amount of $10,000. That got his attention. 30 years later, thousands of people do this ride from Sturbridge, Massachusetts in the center all the way to the end of Cape Cod, about 111 miles. I've done this 4 times. I started when my mom had a touch of breast cancer, and then you start talking about it and you realize there's lots of people who are touched by cancer. And it's quite a ride. I remember the first time I did it, there was a valuable lesson that I call on frequently. My riding partner, Dan Shear, and I were riding up this hill. And I mean, it was just brutal. We were dog tired. It was so hot. I swear this one particular stretch, they're going to discover one day this town was built on top of a volcano because it's heat coming straight up from the tar. It was brutal. And we thought about quitting. There were people walking up the side. That's when Dan and I rode past a guy with one leg. His prosthetic was strapped to the back of his bike. And Dan and I shot a look to each other. We didn't have to say a thing. We knew what we were thinking, each other was thinking. We thought, if this guy can make it without quitting, so can we. And I remember still, I was looking up at this hill thinking, I am so tired. I'm dying here. And that's when I decided I'm going to split that hill, that goal, into halves. And I'm not going to try and reach the top. I'm going to try to reach the half. And then when I get to that half, I'm going to split it up again and make it halfway there. And I would count down in my head. I'm 20 strokes away. I'm 10 strokes away. I'm 5 strokes away. I'm there. Then another half, then another half. And I got to the top. And that's how I made that ride. 111 rides. It's like, and it's over 2 days. I mean, it's the longest wedgie you'll ever get in your life. But it's incredibly rewarding. Every 20 miles, they have a water break. So Dan and I get to that water break, and we get off our bikes, and we're walking around, and they got things like potato chips, which have salt in them, and you're like, oh, this is the best, and Oreos with the sugar, and oh, this is the best, and water and Gatorade. And we're talking about how we made it. It was great. We made it to this next stop. And as we were just thinking about like sitting down, we look over, and there's the guy with one leg going past the water break. He didn't stop. Once again, Dan and I looked at each other, jumped on our bike, and kept going. And there's a sales analogy in this. There will be times when you will come up with insurmountable goals, hills that you think, God, I just can't make this. I encourage you to think about this story and break it up into halves. Make it halfway, and then halfway again, and then halfway again. And if you get a chance to make a donation to the Pan Mass Challenge, know that 100% of your donation goes to cancer research. Great lessons, a great ride. I'm so glad I did it. I hope I never have to do it again. I'm happy to write checks. And there's your lesson for this week. Have a great selling week. I'll talk to you next Monday.